Are you thinking about getting married in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and you're curious what it's like? In this video, we're going to talk about wedding venues and everything you need to know between Jackson Hole and the Tetons up north. And today I'm talking with Kayla. She is an amazing wedding photographer with Foxtails Photography. She is based in Wyoming, so she's an excellent guide if you're looking for somebody to say, hey, I want somebody who's local, who knows all the dirt roads, all about winter weddings, summer weddings, all the venues, all that stuff, and things like that. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Paint a picture for us of what it's like if somebody wants to get married in Wyoming. What are their options?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wyoming is just amazing. I've lived in Wyoming for 16 years now. And so, the landscapes are just wild and stunning. So great location to come for an experience. It's not even just a wedding. It's like a full experience where couples can encapsulate, maybe a little bit of that Western or that iconic American cowboy vibe, or maybe it's more nature oriented and, just the stunning landscapes and the wildlife. Maybe it's adventure and you want to go hiking and horseback riding and ATV riding or boating, all the things.
So the last wedding we did, the couple did, and I went out with them. They went horseback riding, and then the guys were golfing. I didn't go on this, but the day before they floated the Snake River, and then they had the reception. What was it? It was at the museum.
Jackson Hole Wildlife Museum, which is stunning. It's right across from the Elk Refuge.
Just beautiful. So if you want to get married there and have all these adventures on the side of it, you absolutely can. And it is a multi-day, long weekend, long week thing that your guests can experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I have couples that they've hired me to do like 3 days where they come in and we do a welcome party and then, this and that, or full day adventure elopements where we start off going to some private hot springs and then horseback riding. And, it's really fun. So great location, easy to access. So couples can fly in, their guests can fly in. People love it. That's for sure. So that location, that last wedding we did was at the Jackson Hole Golf and Tennis Club, which I love to kind of talk a little bit about as a wedding venue because you still get a little bit of that city vibe because it's on a golf course, right? So you still get this iconic Teton landscape, all these beautiful views, elk bugling in the background. But at the same time, you can have these perfectly manicured lawns and phenomenal food. And the team there is just phenomenal. Steve and his team always pull through for couples. So great location to have a wedding at. One of my favorite venue options. So yeah. And then, you can go into the park and do a wild ceremony in the national park, or you can even get a venue in the park or on the edge of the park, like Diamond Cross Ranch. That's probably, I would say, one of the most iconic venues in Wyoming. Definitely couples, hear that one, see that one, know that one. Diamond Cross Ranch has been around for a long time, and it's right on the edge of the park. So you're a little bit farther away and you're just surrounded by valleys and mountains. It's just stunning. And they add on a beautiful horse experience to where you can have horses run out behind you after you have a first kiss or you start to walk down the aisle. You can kind of time it for whatever you want, but it really, again, encapsulates that Western, that iconic American cowboy vibe that so many of us are obsessed with.
Yes. I love going there. It was fun that last wedding we did, and we went on the horseback ride, and it was a bunch of ladies and guys from Portland, and it was so fun because they're all out there and they're in their cowboy boots and they got their cowboy hats on, and we did a ride in the rain, and it's muddy, and it's just it's a scene that maybe you just don't like. It's not every day you're on a horse going through the woods in the mud with a hat on blocking the rain, and it's just a different kind of experience that most people don't get to have that you can have.
Yeah. It's so dreamy. I have couples that they literally live it. They're literally cowboys and cowgirls themselves, and they come here to get married. Or I have people from New York City that have never worn a cowboy hat. And I had one gal, she had a custom-made Western cape done by a New York City fashion designer. And then they came out and they just had this really fun cowboy night. Some couples you can even rent out the cowboy bar, take it up a notch, have some Western swing dancing,
Yep.
The options are just phenomenal. But let's dive back into a few more wedding venues around the area and kind of chat a little bit about how to maybe figure out what you want for the area. Because one great feature about our location is that we have weddings of all sizes. but it definitely does cater a little bit more to like some smaller weddings in some locations. So, you want to kind of think whenever you're looking at getting married in Wyoming, kind of think about how big of a wedding you have, because as you're inquiring for venues, that's going to be a big feature because we are limited to indoor venues. So in the wintertime, we have fewer options for larger weddings, whereas in the summertime, you can do whatever you want. I saw some couple, I think even brought in Toby Keith for their wedding a couple years ago or something, and had like this whole big, huge outdoor party. So, anything's possible, and you can really create it for what's right for you. And that's where the venues really come in, because it's just another extension of a couple and your love story, and you can choose a venue, depending on the view that you want, or depending on how close it is to town. We have these really amazing venues that are 45 minutes outside of town. Sometimes they have cabins around them. Sometimes couples, they just shuttle back and forth so that you have a ceremony at one location, maybe reception at another. You don't have to do everything at one place. But one of my favorite places where couples do everything is oftentimes a Snake River Ranch. And so that's out in Teton Village, and that's a beautiful venue. More of an outdoor venue, though. They don't have like an indoor location. So, you can set up tents, and you just have these stunning views of the Tetons. You're right by Teton Village, so it's super easy to go back and forth between the hotels and the location. Beautiful, beautiful spot there. And then you have some phenomenal places for like intimate weddings, like Amangani. Amangani is one of my favorite places. It is one of the Amangani Resorts. So a lot of people know Amangani, which is actually located, I think, in Utah. I think not Arizona, it's Utah. And Amangani is the Jackson Hole version. So you're right up on top of this beautiful hill. You have a 360-degree view, and you're on a wildlife refuge. And it's just stunning because you have this high-end luxury, beautiful, beautiful hotel. And then they mostly, I think, work with smaller weddings of like 40 people or less, or 50 people or less. So, oftentimes couples will just buy off the whole place. And again, like, you really have this really curated experience depending on what your vibe or your style is. Sometimes you can do ranches. So there's like Lost Creek Ranch, Moose Creek Ranch. Some of those places offer a certain amount of lodging, and you can have these really cute cabins. Lost Creek Ranch, stunning, one of my favorite places. You have iconic, beautiful views of the Tetons. And then you have these really cute cabins. They have like wagon rides. You can do bonfires, really, really fun.
Kayla, that was great. We want to make sure if you're planning your wedding that you have a really good experience. We work a lot at these venues. We know things. We've seen things throughout the year. And we've seen couples who have had negative experiences, and it's painful. We don't want that for our couples. So two things. One is, why don't you mention real quick, let's say a couple's thinking about getting married at a venue, and the venue is encouraging them to book in-house wedding planning. What are your thoughts on that, and what maybe warnings might you give somebody?
Yeah. I've had multiple couples have really bad experiences with this, and luckily everything came out, like we were able to navigate around it, but you do want to be really careful. So a lot of the venues, in not just in our area, but even in other areas, they'll just have staff members come on that are their wedding planner, and they don't essentially know how to wedding plan. They, get trained to a certain extent, but they're a little bit more corporate, and they don't exactly always know how to work with other vendors in the area, or how to curate timelines, how to plan, how to execute wedding day of. Some of my associates have had people crying day of because they didn't know how to really be present for the couple the day of. So I just really recommend doing your research, finding out how long the staff's been there, find out what their level of experience is with wedding planning, ask for portfolios, ask for reviews. I had a client who, she actually found a bunch of us on Instagram. She actually reached out to my clients before she reached out to me, and was like, hey, we're thinking about getting married at this venue. What was your experience? And of course my client was like, terrible. Like, it was a phenomenal wedding. The venue was stunning, but the planning, like, these are the issues we ran into. So it makes it easier for us to be like, we love this area. Like, I have venues that I refuse to work at unless there's a full service planner. I have a couple of venues that I won't work at regardless, because I have had bad experiences and my couples have had bad experiences. So it is important to have vendors that know the area very well and have maybe worked with others in the area, because then you kind of get that insider to help protect you and make sure that your wedding is executed properly. But just ask questions, ask all the questions. That's one of the most helpful things you can do when picking out a venue or any vendor, is just ask questions, find out how long they've been in the industry, ask for reviews. If they don't have reviews, you know, get the good and the bad. Everybody's had good and bad, 100%. And some of these venues, you know, again, like, they have tons of pros, just like they have cons. So for one couple, what might not be a good idea might be perfect for another couple. So, you know, kind of analyze that too.
Yeah. And again, I think you would agree, we're saying this because we want you as a couple to have a really, really good time. And we don't want you to walk into something, us knowing, hey, this might not be good. There's going to be some friction. You might be stressed on your wedding day. We might be able to save you from that. So if you're curious to hear, I'd encourage you to reach out to Kayla. So with that being said, if you are curious, reach out to her. She can give you her insights on that. And just one little thing I'll throw in, as a general rule that I've seen when I've worked weddings in Washington, Wyoming, Idaho, and Oregon, and other places, is that when I've seen couples go with an on-site planner, I feel like their allegiance is more to the venue and less to the couple. And again, as a wedding videographer and doing logistics, the communication can fall off a little bit in terms of lining all of us up, because a wedding, there's just so many moving parts. And again, I mean, I literally, if you go to my website, I have a blog that's like, I think it's like 5 ways to keep you stress-free on your wedding. Because I don't like seeing couples get overwhelmed or flustered or crying. So anyways, it's things like that. And that's part of why you hire professionals, because we've been there, we've seen it, we know how to protect you from it. And we want you to have that great experience that we've seen a lot of our couples have. All right, perfect. That was really great information. Thank you so much, Kayla. And if you watch this and you were helped by it and you want to talk to Kayla because she's amazing, you can see her info down below and you can reach out to her. In addition, I'll link some venues too if you're thinking, hey, I want to jump over to those. So with that being said, thanks for watching this video. Feel free to watch some other ones if you're thinking about getting married in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.